what's happening there. This is part of a strategic plan process. And then after that, on May 8th, is on a Saturday. And from 10 to 2 at City Hall, we're going to have what I call a Community Visioning Day. And in that day, tonight I'll be asking questions about how you'd like Deltona to be described or not be described, things you'd like to have or want to keep. We'll have all those answers up, and we're going to do a community poll to determine, what's the preferences. I will also ask you tonight any topics you'd like to have discussed on the 8th. And so we'll, depending on how many we have, we'll have a schedule. The room will be set up. And, at 10 o'clock, we'll be talking about roads, or 11 o'clock development, whatever comes out of these meetings. And then we also are trying to make that a family event. So hopefully there's going to be snow cones for the children. We'll have a children's activity. There's a lot of visioning stuff already occurring in the city, and we're going to have displays about that, so you'll be aware of a lot of stuff that is happening and going on. So I hope if you'll let folks know about the 8th, I'd appreciate it. And everybody's welcome. Please encourage everybody to come if you can. And please encourage more folks to come on the 26th. Might have interest, for whatever set of reasons didn't come tonight. So that's what the process will be. After the meeting on the 8th, I will take all that information that I've gathered out of the 4 meetings, plus I'll be doing some interviews in the community, and I'm going to write what I call a positioning statement. It's basically the set of themes I've heard from folks, and I'll present that to the City Commission in the first of the strategic planning workshops with them. And out of that, we will draw the goals that the Commission believes they are feasible for them to work on and that they can make some progress on. You have to have a limited number of goals. Cities just like life. If you try to have too many goals, you don't get anything done. So we want to have enough goals, you can get something done. And that will turns into then a set of objectives. The objectives become part of the budget, and that's how it works. So that's the process that we're about, and tonight's the early phase of it. So I have really 5 questions for you tonight, and we'll take them in order. 1, I would like you to tell me the words you hope would describe Deltona in the future, whatever they are, a word or word. Secondly, I'd like you to tell me the word or words you hope people would not use to describe Deltona in the future. Third, I'd like you to tell me features you'd like to see added in this city. You've already mentioned restaurants as one. Other things you'd like to see here. Fourth, I'd like to hear what are things in this city you don't want to lose. As like all Florida cities, you face a lot of growth pressures, a lot of changes. What do you want to keep here? And 5, what topics would you like to be able to discuss on the 8th? So those are my 5 questions of you. Egbert's been on the first one. He's invited to add any comments tonight, but I'm going to focus my discussion on the folks up front here, if I may. But we have a couple of city staff who are here who are listening in. So we ready? Let's go. First, words you would like to see Deltona described in the future. In the future, we'll talk about Deltona, they would be saying what? I'll be taking notes as you talk. So go ahead, sir, and we'll just go this way. Okay. 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 All right. So a booming, prosperous, business-friendly, business-rich community where there's a lot of choices. Okay. Okay. Can you pass them around for folks? Okay. We'll take that one first, and I'll come back to the next. Oh, so okay. Yes, if you would. All right. Words you'd like to see Deltona. Okay, all right. But words you hope people would use to describe Deltona in the future.
It's very friendly.
Okay. In the sense of it's growing. Okay. Okay. Any others? Would you like to respond?
I think
And you hope that would continue to be an affordable community. Okay? All right. Sir?
I'd like it to see it establish a downtown area type
Okay.
where people can actually have something to do and go on a Saturday or Friday night. When I first moved here, I met a person and he said to me, "Where did you move to?" I said, "How far is that from downtown?" And he got me on that one. There is no downtown.
Okay.
It's the biggest city in Volusia County, but there's no downtown.
No downtown. All right. So you'd hope there would be a downtown in the future
I'd like to see more activity.
for the party types like you who like to go out on Saturday nights, right?
More activity.
Okay. All right. No, we're good. Let's give it to. All right. Fair enough.
Real quick, I'm Caitlin, and when you get the mic, if you can make sure to speak into it, even though we can all hear each other in this room, we're recording back there, and it would be really helpful for picking up the audio. So thank you.
Oh, well.
You're good. You
Yeah.
sure?
I've already got his notes from last time. He's just checking me out.
Do either of you wish to?
They're city staff.
Okay.
So, okay. Go back here. Okay. Let's go the opposite of it. In the future, how would you not like Deltona to be described? What words do you not want to hear about it?
I don't want to hear it become unaffordable.
Okay.
I do agree with the woman here. I think it needs to stay affordable for the folks that live here. I think there's a huge senior population, so we want to make sure that it's affordable for them. But a lot of those folks are on a fixed income, and we don't want to drive up the prices like you're seeing in Orlando, and they're going to be, unfortunately, experiencing a huge affordability crisis.
Right.
So definitely stay affordable, and I want it to stay friendly. So
Okay.
I don't want to see a downturn in how people are here.
Okay. So, sort of the cold rudeness that we imagine with big cities where nobody looks at you, nobody knows your name, you don't know your next door neighbor sort of stuff.
Right.
You don't want that.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you, Caitlin. Okay.
Again, it's no downtown area.
Okay. But what you
No,
don't want to have.
Well,
Okay.
I did the same thing. I don't want to see the affordable housing go away.
Right.
I think because we're reasonable apartments.
Okay. Okay. All right. So affordability, you don't want to become this place where people can't, your children, your friends, ever can't afford to live here.
Right.
Hi. Come on in. We'll catch you up. No problem. It's just how it's going to work tonight. So. Okay.
All right.
What you don't want to hear about
Don't like
Deltona.
what I call spot zoning, where a vacant lot can pop up and be a little store, it can be a storage unit, it can be something that just pops up all over.
Uh-huh.
Just seems like if there's a vacant lot, they can build whatever they want on it.
Okay.
I
all
don't
right.
like that,
So-
and I don't like the new housing that's going on that are 10 feet apart. I mean, they tell us that there's a lot of people that don't like to mow lawns and do lawn gardens, so that's the coming thing. Well, if you get a bunch of people that don't want to do anything, what do you build, row houses?
Okay.
I mean, where's it end?
Okay. So you'd like it to be this
was
really
was a really nice suburban
house. Okay.
urban type of city, you know. and
Okay.
It's not going that way.
Okay. So what you don't want is a city of highly dense housing,
Yeah,
backed
exactly.
up.
Exactly.
You know, keep its suburban character, which is a house
and,
on a
and
discernible
the
yard.
other things, like if you have a street and there happens to be a vacant lot on it, they'll because of the new setback requirement, they'll build a house on that, and the garage is 6-8 feet forward than anybody else's on the street. I mean, it
Okay.
just don't conform anymore.
Okay.
There's no such thing as a grandfather.
Okay.
I also don't like that. I think there should be some kind of rules or something for the colors people paint their houses. In other
Okay.
words, when you see a black house or a purple there's one house, it's a hot pink house, it's got a pink driveway, a pink mailbox, pink windows. The whole entire place is hot pink. I think that's ridiculous.
Okay.
I just don't like the way, I don't know.
Okay.
And I don't like the way that people park all over the yards. You know, you see six cars, and there's a lot of people that own, they rent garages out of their driveway, you know, out of their house.
Okay. Okay. Let me catch this young woman up. Hi, I'm Herb. Amanda, nice to meet you. Let me catch her up quickly. This is part of strategic plan for the city. The first phase is just listening to the community. So I'm going to ask you 2 questions. I'm going to ask you 5 total. The first one, I'd like you to tell me, how would you like to have Deltona described in the future? And then with the one we were talking about when you came in is words you hope will not be used to describe Deltona. So how would you like to hear Deltona described?
A nice place for families.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up here, so.
Oh, okay.
When I think Deltona, I think.
You think family?
Helen Osteen and all that area there, that's where I'm from.
Okay.
So yeah, kind of suburban,
Okay.
nice neighborhood.
All right.
And then what I don't, what I don't want it to be described as.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like it to turn into like another Orlando. I would hate to see a metropolis out here.
Okay. That's an apt description. I mean, that's, you know, you don't want to be Orlando.
Right, yes.
When I was in Broward County this morning, they don't want to be Miami, so.
Yeah,
yeah.
well, there you go, yeah.
You know,
I mean, nothing wrong with Orlando. It's just a different flavor.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's just not what you want for you, okay? All right, that's our first 2 questions. How'd you like it described? How you don't want it to be described? My third question is, what features would you like to see added in the city that aren't here? And I use word feature in the broadest sense. That can be a business, that can be a park, that can be natural areas. It's just, I wish we had this. So, Brandon, we'll start with you and go this way. You come in so you get questions quick. Thank you for being so quick on your feet.
Of course. Okay, things that I would like to see out here.
Yes,
okay.
what you would like to see. Yeah, what would you like to have? And this list can be as long as you guys want to make it. You know.
Well, I really like the parks that are already here, and I think there's probably a good amount of parks here.
Okay.
So maybe more family businesses, less dollar stores, less Walmarts and such, more small
locally
shopping
owned.
centers
Okay.
with, you know, this person, that person can kind of run their family businesses.
Okay. All right, so small businesses, locally owned businesses, that type of stuff. Okay. And we'll keep going around until you got every idea, so go right ahead.
I definitely concur with Amanda. I would like to see small, local, family-owned businesses pop up here. I would also like to see dog parks. I don't think we have not one dog park in this. Yeah.
You can say it again. I'll give it 2 check marks.
Yes. And I would like to see maybe, what do you call it? Like just an expansion of the public transportation.
Okay.
I think especially for the seniors in town who can't get around mobily, and then also people who are low income and need to get to work, you know, the Walmart,
Okay.
the different areas that we have here. So just an expansion of that would be great.
Okay.
Can I add?
Oh, yeah.
I love the Lyonia area, the nature preserve. Some more nature preserves or
Okay.
Natural areas would be great.
Okay. Natural areas. Okay.
Okay, I'm back. More dog parks.
More dog parks. Okay. Checking it off here.
I guess more nature trails or whatever, you know, or make us aware of the nature trails of what, you know, what's around and available. Things that you can do here that we
Okay.
don't know about.
Okay.
Activities.
Okay.
Sometimes I can take my dog.
Okay. All right. So more information about activities, options,
Right, I think it's
where you could do things.
another great.
Okay. All right.
Basically the same thing, more activity for the people to do. Instead of, you know, absolutely no more gas stations, no more fast food,
Okay.
things like that. But
All right.
something for the people, like more down by the Lake Monroe where the old Civic building used to be. You know,
Okay.
I mean, develop something for the people to do,
Okay.
so they'll want to live here
All right.
in their 8-foot apartment houses.
So you got me 8-foot house, you got somewhere to go out of it, okay? All right, and I added restaurants since you'd already said that, so you can have that. Okay.
And like you said, not just old chain restaurants
Right.
like Orange City. I mean, you know, in houses that, you know, restaurants that are more like family oriented, you know, just
Yeah, different,
place
unique.
nice. I mean, there isn't even a restaurant where you can like go sit down on Valentine's Day with a tablecloth and just, you know, nice intimate little restaurants, you know what I mean? Just, but they don't have any.
Okay, all right, okay. Anything else you'd like to add to that? Anything? Okay. All right, we'll start back with Amanda again. Now,
Get your steps in.
Deltona, as with just about every community in Florida, is growing. And with growth comes all kind of pressures. I live in a little town called Newberry. When I grew up, it was 853 people. And I didn't know everybody in town, but at least I knew faces, you know, and maybe they knew who I was, you know. And now we're 5,000 people, and we're growing like mad. We're the third fastest growing small city in Florida. I blame it all on the mayor, who happens to be my son. You know, because he's out there getting jobs and businesses, and we do that, and you know, but that is Florida. So it's changing, you know, and I don't like some of those changes. You know, I go in town, I don't know a soul. Who are these people? You know. So, you know, we as long-term Floridians have, you know, some mixed feelings about all this growth, you know. On the one hand, you know, we do appreciate the jobs and some of the shopping options and all that. On the other hand, we feel sometimes like we're losing something. So I'd like you to talk to me. Do you fear y'all are losing anything here? And if not, fine. If it is, tell me what it might be.
So when Amazon came in, I was a little worried that house prices were going to go up, and just in general, prices were going to go up.
Okay.
Obviously, it's not like a light switch. It's not
Sure.
overnight. But that is what I'm worried about. I'm worried that people aren't going to be able to afford to live out here. I know at some point taxes are going to have to go up because roads are getting pretty terrible.
Okay.
And that's just going to add more to people not being able to afford. And I know Amazon at least is in a big, you know, minimum wage dispute. And if you're not able to pay your people to live near where they're
Where you're
working,
working,
it's going to keep going up and up.
Okay. All right. So let me just paraphrase back. Partially you fear road deterioration just from more traffic, from our worse traffic, and so it's harder to get around town. The city becomes less affordable.
Yes.
I mentioned to y'all I was in Broward County last 2 days. I was in the city of Parkland. Parkland is in the very northwest of Broward County. It's right next to the Everglades. And 2 years ago when I was there for my first meeting, it was part of a city commission meeting, and a developer was talking up and says, I'm going to build affordable housing here. And so the mayor says, well, how much is an affordable house? He says, $500,000. I thought, boy, I could never afford that.
Yeah.
But in Broward County, that starts to become affordable, you know.
Right.
And the city of Doral is a client of mine. They're west of the Miami airport. If you want to buy an acre of land in Doral, $2.5 million is a starting price, you know. So it's just very, you know, Florida's becoming very expensive. Now we're a long way from that, and you know, if they're going to go to $2.5 million, I hope they come to my farm because I'll just sell out and leave. But still, you know, the housing affordability is going to continue to be a real issue, and that's everywhere. And it just is. So, okay. What would you like to make sure it doesn't get lost?
I, of course, echo what Amanda said about affordability, but other than that, I would not want to see the light traffic we have here go away. I do like the fact that you can get from point A to point B, and it's not a headache, it's not stressful like it is in Orlando.
Right.
I happen to work in Orlando, and that just takes away your quality of life, honestly,
Okay.
when you have to go through traffic each and every day.
Right.
So that's something I hope stays the same here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you'd like not to have a 15-minute wait to get through a traffic light?
No, thank you.
All right. Kathy?
No, I agree with him about the traffic. I like it in Deltona. Like, I hate to go to Lake Mary or someplace. It's just, you know, traffic bumper to bumper. And I like the way it is. Although, you know, with all this new housing going in, they have to widen the roads, which they were doing right here on Howland Boulevard. And they'll have to do it on Doyle Road, I suppose, also. That's all.
Okay,
That's
all right,
say.
so you hate to lose that mobility around the city, the ease of getting around town.
Right, right. It's just that, mainly, you know, more activities for people to do.
Okay.
Deltona has a lot of things for families with children, you know, different things at the Booster, you know, Dewey Booster Park, but just, I don't know, it doesn't seem to be too much, you know, going on.
Too much money.
Right. And more, if the city could get more businesses in here, that people don't have to drive to Orlando to work. But they all do.
Sure.
You know, so that'd be very important, especially
Okay.
with all the new houses being built.
Okay. All right, so a thing you'd like to have is less requirement to commute and be able to drive here.
Yeah, like everybody said, there's nothing being developed that is for the people. It does. I mean, we have a hospital, but that's not where you go when you want to go shopping. You got to go. All the money
prefer
goes
not to go to the
across
hospital.
to Orange City. They get all our money, all our
Okay.
shopping,
All right.
most of our eating out and everything.
Go to Barry, eat dinner.
Or go to Barry, same thing. I mean, or DeLand, but.
Okay, so really having to go to Orange City, DeBerry.
You know, it's great we have a hospital, it's great we get this, it's great we get a storage unit, but that's not for people don't care about that.
Sure.
You know.
Okay. Anything else when you think
No
about
more
you'd like to-
dollar stores.
I tell you, I heard that in the first meeting. They're everywhere. I was driving through some highly rural part of Florida recently. I can't even remember where I was at. And sure enough, there was a dollar store. There was nothing else around, but there was that dollar store. So, okay. Okay, when we meet on the 8th, and I hope y'all will each be able to come, and please bring 20 friends with you. What would you like to be able to talk about with your fellow residents? So tell me the topics.
So the next meeting is just an additional community plan?
Yeah, well, the next meeting on the 26th of April is going to be the same format. It'll be at
Okay.
City Hall, same questions. And yeah, let me just catch you up. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
On May 8th, which is a Saturday, we're going to have a Community Vision Day, 10 to 2 from City Hall. And we'll do a number of things there. One, y'all are giving me answers to this tonight. I'll get some more. I have some from the earlier meeting. We're going to have these up. I'll have you do a poll and just pick out the ones that are most important to you. So one, it'll be a polling opportunity. Two, I and a colleague will be there to facilitate topic discussions. So if you'd like to talk about traffic, and everybody who would like to talk about traffic, we'll get together, we'll have a conversation about traffic. If you'd like to talk about, well, that's a topic. You know, what I need to hear from you is yeah. So what that meeting will be, you know, we'll have a list of topics, and it's a chance for the residents to come and talk about that topic. It'll be scheduled, and, you know, we'll cover as many as we can.
Okay.
We're going to have a number of displays. The city is doing a lot, and actually doing some things around Lake Monroe, so you can learn and see, here's what's happening, because there's a lot of stuff going on that you may not be aware of. So we'll have displays about ecotourism, recreation, about this place, which a lot of folks don't know is here, all those things. We're going to try to have some kid activities, because hopefully, and we're trying to arrange for free snow cones for the kids and maybe for the adults.
I'll come for that.
You know, so you know, please, if you will let folks know through your network what that is, and we'd like to get as good a turnout as we can. We're trying to be very COVID sensitive, obviously, and we'll be spread out so that nobody's jammed up. So you have to do it. We'll do it differently than you normally would. But so anyway, that's what we're doing. So this is preparation for that workshop. So one topic you want to talk about is noise. So I'll put that on the list. And you can repeat anything you said earlier. That's fine. I just want to get it. So
I just want to repeat everything I said. No, I'm just kidding.
I've got it verbatim.
So in Orlando, they have like micro communities, which
Okay.
it's kind of like an apartment complex, but then they also have businesses inside of there. So like the bottom floor is like restaurants and stores.
Okay.
And then the top 2 floors are more like apartment buildings.
Okay.
I've seen those all over the country.
Okay.
They're very nice. They welcome a lot of nice families and even older folks.
Okay.
Everybody likes them. The one in Orlando, there's Baldwin Park. There's a Publix right in the middle of it.
Oh, really?
Everybody walks to Publix and then
Okay.
they walk home with their groceries.
Okay.
I think introducing at least one of those into Deltona would really bring a lot of business. It would bring a lot of young families who are
Well,
making
increase
good
a mini
money.
downtown, in effect.
Right, exactly. And they're just micro communities, so they're not more than like a mile large. They're pretty small. They have a little park in there.
Okay.
And even 1 or 2 in Deltona would really
Okay.
help
All right.
bring people
And-
here.
From your experience, you see them emerging around the nation?
Oh, yes, they're all over the place. And they're popping up in communities or cities like Deltona
Okay.
that are mostly residential. And people are like, well, we want to bring businesses into there,
Okay.
but we don't want to lose the housing.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's a great topic.
Yeah, Baldwin Park is a really good example.
Okay. All right. We'll keep passing the microphone around. I'll keep going because I'd like to get every possible topic.
Yeah.
We may be limited on time, but I'll try to figure out.
Yep. Some topics I'd like to see discussed are the expansion of public transportation.
Okay.
I think more apartment complexes, not just houses, but apartment complexes, and more community-wide events. Yeah.
Okay. Talk to me about that a little bit.
The community-wide events? Well, just things that are hosted by the city of Deltona for the people, fun activities for the kids, for, people my age, seniors. It could be hosted at the library or even at the Daytona State College here in town.
Okay.
I don't know the content of the events, but just something fun.
More fun.
More-
things,
yeah.
things to get out, things to do.
Especially in light of COVID, I feel like it would be good for people's well-being to feel like there's some fun in the atmosphere.
Okay.
It's been a long year. So, something to break up the monotony.
The monotony.
Yes.
That's a good point. Okay. Kathy, things you'd like to see, talk about.
Does public transportation come here for I know a lot of the seniors weren't happy when they moved the senior center to here from down on the water on Lake Monroe.
Uh-huh.
They weren't happy about that at all.
Okay. All right.
And they found it very hard to get
To
here.
get to here?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Do you know what the plans are for there? There were several different things. One thing was like for people that ride bicycles, having some kind of like stayover place or.
If you come on May 8th, you'll see all those plans, but I don't want to speak to them because I'm not expert in them, but I've seen some stuff, and I think there are a lot of very interesting
What I said about
plans.
the noise ordinance, it's just that you have people blasting their music, and they're on the next street, and they're like 3 or 4 houses down. I have a
Down.
neighbor that put her house up for sale, and she's leaving because new people in a brand-new house they built moved in, and she can't take it anymore.
Okay.
So
right.
she's put her house up for sale, she's leaving.
Okay. All right. So noise
And
control.
they're not the only ones, there's other ones on the next street that do the same thing, or even on my street,
Okay.
so.
All right. Okay. Anything else you'd like to talk about on the 8th?
No, I just wish that code enforcement would oversee people doing their lawns and their gardens, and like I said, cars parking on the lawns, and you go to a house and they've got 6 or 7 cars parked all over their house, and
Right.
and it's not just once in a while; it's all the time.
All the time. Sure.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Things you'd like to talk about on the 8th?
Well, I think what she said about the car parking, you take a look at these new developments they're putting up, they're allowing 5 or 6 spaces for somewhere on the loop for your friends to park.
Okay.
Well, if you're all the way up here, you got to drive them down there, then take them back up.
Okay.
And it's just bad planning.
The villages
I
like
don't
that.
understand it.
They do it at the villages.
Yeah.
That's all. And, as far as mass transportation, where's it going to take you? There's nothing to really do.
Okay. All right.
Take you to the hospital, maybe.
Well, if you go in there, the ambulance might be taking you there, so. Okay. All right. Well, this is a great list, and thank you for the time. Anything else you would just like to express here? I mean, you took your time to come, and if you had I won't say I can answer questions, but I can make note of questions.
I wish I would have come more prepared. I wasn't sure what to expect coming.
Sure.
So maybe putting out something with, next time there's a community event, instead of just being a flyer of, hey, community planning, maybe, come with your questions, come with,
Okay, all right.
I know that's more of a, less on the city and more on the event here, sorry. Yeah.
We got it over that we get notices from the city on the computer, but I don't think people were notified of this meeting, and that's why there's no one here.
I'm not exactly sure how, I think I found out from Facebook. I follow the old mayor and, yeah.
Okay.
And then I told Rick, so.
Why are you so quiet?
Yeah. He was not quiet during that meeting, I'll assure you. Okay.
I guess I would like to echo again the making sure, even in the rural areas, the roads are kept up.
Okay.
It's been a while since I've been in rural Deltona, but last time I was there, it was still gravel in a lot of spots.
Okay.
And I know there's a lot more houses coming up, and it's going to really take a toll on it. But also keeping our green spaces out here.
Okay.
I know there's a sign somewhere that was like the city of trees, or Deltona's like the tree capital or something, and it kind of surprised me, but I'd like it to stay that way.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay.
I think overall just better communication in terms of events like this and what to expect. Because we want to see more people packed in this room so that you have diversity of thought and then different people are represented. So that's all.
Okay.
How did you hear about it?
Through her.
Really?
And she doesn't remember how she heard about it, so it's a great mystery.
I think a lot of my events news from Facebook. So
Okay.
No,
Okay.
like I said.
You
earlier,
heard from the web.
My husband did work for the planning committee.
Oh, okay.
Here in Deltona, and so we get it from the
So
computer.
you get a lot from the city.
Right.
Okay. All right. How do your friends learn about events?
I've lived here 11 years, and I really don't know many of my neighbors at all, just
Okay.
to say hi. I really don't even know the people across the street, what their names are. I know the next door neighbors, the other ones, they moved. I don't know the new people.
Okay.
The girl next door, I know her name, but I don't,
Yeah.
just say hi, and really, that's it. Really don't know many people in Deltona.
How about for y'all? How do other people?
to get the community leaders involved. So
Cool.
like business owners that own several businesses in the area, apartment complex owners, there's leaders in the areas, just letting them know that there's these events, and they'll want their employees and their
Okay.
people here, customers here. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Did anyone ever, I don't know, but did anyone ever suggest like swim clubs or something?
You're the first, but I'll add it here.
Insurance, but I mean, really, when I grew up, and I lived in the suburbs, and we always had a swimming pool club to go to.
Is there a public swimming pool in the city?
Here,
Yeah.
just a Y, but that's not, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
That would be interesting, like a community pool.
Okay. All right.
Actually, there are some parks that have pools in Tennessee.
Okay. Okay. Got any questions of me? I have tons of you. It's fair turnabout.
So you do this all over, I'm sorry, you do this all over Florida? Just you go and facilitate?
Yeah. I've, as I mentioned, I've City of Doral, client of mine there, City of Parkland. I've done Orlando, strategic plan for Orlando.
Oh, that's nice.
Hillsborough County, et cetera. I work just about all over Florida.
Is there something in these meetings that comes up a lot that you think we should be discussing, or even just in general, some advice that you would give us?
Well, let me talk to you about what comes up a lot is all the impacts of growth you know, and so every community I work in, always road issues, growth issues, housing, affordability of housing is a, you know, in the last 4 or 5 years has become really, I mean, big topic for everybody. Roads has been a topic for 30 or 40 years, and I've lived through 3 rebuildings of the Florida Turnpike in the time I've been driving back and forth, you know, so roads are always there. The concern about losing distinctive community features, things that make our community identity, and a lot of this, you know, growth, in all fairness to Miami-Dade and Broward counties, growth came so fast to them. And we didn't have the structures in the state to be ready for that. And, you know, if you don't have a plan, other people have a plan, you know, and so their plans get done. But a lot of the negative feelings about growth developed in what people saw happen in Miami-Dade and Broward, where distinctive cities, you know, unless you happen to see the city limit sign, you have no idea, unless you're in downtown Fort Lauderdale, maybe, where you're at. You know, you have to really be in that community a while to have some knowledge of that. And so there's a fear of that. And you will find, where I live up in north central Florida, a lot of the folks there went farther south and then came back up because they didn't like what was down there. So that's it's a very common theme about that. Other themes are sort of dependent upon certain times. I mean, for a while, water was a really significant issue here in the state. We had a lot of water wars. We have created some structures to help manage that, but still, you know, we still put enormous demand on our aquifers and lakes and all. So in some communities, water can be a tremendous concern. In those communities with either lots of seniors or children, recreation is usually a high concern because folks want something for their children to do or the seniors want something to do. And so having enough parks, enough pickleball courts, swimming pools, there's always pressures about that. And those are expensive things. For example, the city of Doral just 2 or 3 years ago, their citizens passed a $150 million bond issue to build a major park. And, you know, and it's sort of staggering to think you would have to spend $150 million on an 80-acre park. But they will. You know, it just costs that much. So in some communities, that's the real issue. I haven't heard safety concerns as much in recent years. For a while, people were really concerned about safety. That's, you know, we seem to be not as worried about that. People seem their communities fairly safe compared to some places. Now, obviously, go into areas of major cities, it's different. You know, we are Americans, you know, we want a lot of stuff, we don't want to pay for it.
Right.
So there's always concern about taxes and that, you know. But I haven't, that doesn't even seem to be as strong as it was for a period of time. I think people sort of understand if you want things, somebody's got to pay, you know. So there's somewhat more receptivity to that. I would say at the moment, probably the major issues are just growth and all its impacts, including traffic, because it's still coming enormously. If you mentioned the villages, if you drive the turnpike now, the villages are building on both sides of the turnpike, and they build their own bridge over the turnpike, you know, and it's cute to see the golf courses go across the bridge, you know. I mean, so, and the Lee County, for example, when the COVID thing happened, they thought, you know, their development would stop. It didn't, slow down a bit, had as much as they'd ever had. So, you know, folks, for whatever reasons, are in love with Florida, and they're coming, you know. And it's just starting to go. Well, I tell you, you know, if we don't, you know how we could get everybody to leave Florida?
Not leave, but you want everybody to leave?
Well, no, I'm just telling you, if you want everybody to leave, uninvent air conditioning. And we would have to see a mass dispersal. I did a project with the South Florida Water Management once on Kissimmee River restoration, Everglades restoration. And one of my members of my committee was a 7th generation Floridian, my age, so you can imagine when his family came. And they have an island out in a major lake, and we went to tour it. And he was telling about his first Generation forebears, when they came, literally had to dig trenches in the ground and pile branches on them to sleep, or the mosquitoes would eat them alive. You know, you just couldn't survive. So air conditioning has made this state.
We recently got solar on our
Uh-huh.
house. Because our electric bill was like over $300.
Yeah, yeah.
And we have a pool.
Sure.
But now, this month it's $15. is our
Wow.
electric bill.
Wow.
Wow, great for you.
And I think a lot of people would be wise to look into solar because the money, even if they don't pay for it up front, money that they would pay to make the payment.
Sure.
Would on their electric bill.
Well, and driving up here today, I drove up on 95 and I saw what looked like at least a 400-acre solar farm, just solar panels everywhere. So, I mean, you're going to see a lot more of that in Florida.
With your experience in Broward County,
Yep.
the droves of people coming from different states that have big pockets because they make a different livable wage.
Sure.
What are some of the things that the cities are doing to make it easier on the locals, up and coming families that want to buy their first home? Are there any incentives for the locals here?
Well, what cities do, y'all, Deltona may do it for all I do, there's a variety of planning tools you can use, like density bonuses. Will let you build more units in an apartment complex if a certain percentage of those are affordable. So that's one tool that people use. There are corporations that really specialize in trying to build affordable housing, and they do it by leveraging a variety of tax advantages. But they usually have to have somebody who's willing to sell them land at a discount at least to be able to do it. But Lee County, there's the issue like they're building a 100-unit complex that's affordable, which is great. I mean, it's 100 units. In the context of nearly 1 million people, that's not a lot of units, So, what partially occurs is, Deltona was originally the most affordable place to live, to work in Orlando. It's part of the reason Deltona filled up. Well, I don't know where you keep going. Soon you're going to run out, but but I mean, you still see a lot of that. People do drive fairly long distances to be able to get to the outskirts. Now, if you look in Miami-Dade County, they're building rail lines. I mean, they're building a massive public transportation system. One, because their roads are so clogged, you can't get out. But people are still moving out to Homestead, trying to get out to find more affordable housing. So it's, the land cost obviously is a major factor, and just the cost of materials. Nobody has a magic bullet. If they did, or if I'd figured it out, I'd just be rich, because it's just an exceedingly complex problem.
It is. My last question, it's kind of unrelated, but just based on your expertise, where do you feel is the next hot destination in Florida?
Oh, okay.
That's maybe not developed yet, or maybe it's still affordable. Like, where's the next drove of people going to wind up?
I can answer that for you. It's going to be the Panhandle.
Oh, okay.
Crestview's a client of mine. They have 10,000 acres.
Wow.
Crestview's out in the Panhandle. They've got a 10,000 acre tract that somebody's figuring out what they're going to do. You can get a very nice house there for $225,000. Now the problem is there are not yet a lot of jobs, although that's growing, and a lot of it's military based, military retirees. But yeah, I think for good or ill, the Panhandle. If you'll notice, I didn't say anything about north central Florida, because I'd just soon you skip over and go farther north. But the reality is, within the next 10 years, where I-75 and the Turnpike come together at State Road 44, the Villages is right there. That's going to be solid from there through the south side of Orlando. I mean, I could just see it coming. It's filling in. So that whole area, the Orlando Metroplex, our I-4 corridor, I-4 mini city, this whole thing is going to be there. And so people are coming farther north, That's why we're the third fastest growing small city in Florida,
Speaking of growth,
Yep.
comes the future, and of course children. I'd like on the list there to be schools. I'm not
Sure.
exactly sure. So we just, full disclosure here, we just moved out of Deltona
Okay.
to Orlando.
Uh-huh.
Schools were one of the factors.
Oh, really?
It seems like they're more interested in what our children are wearing versus what they're learning.
And you're talking about Volusia County Schools?
Volusia County Schools, yes. The dress code is, I mean, you have to spend money. They're like, oh no, you can't spend money on your kids for clothes because then they'll get teased because they don't have nice clothes. Well, those parents are having to spend money on expensive uniforms.
Sure, yeah.
So, in addition to that, just the
And
quality of
let me
education.
just say on the school for a minute. And you actually consider the Orange County public school system a better school system?
Yes, by far. My child got a laptop when she started school.
Okay.
They have levels of education. So she's in 4th grade, but she's learning like halfway through 5th grade because
Okay.
they saw that she could
So
learn
that
more, and they
should
moved
do
her
work.
up. So she's still technically in 4th grade, but she's being tested on a 5th grade level.
Wow.
When she was here, it was very much like if you're bored, you sit there and twiddle your thumbs until
Sure.
everybody else can learn.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if that's that same school, but I know at least from growing up here and going through the school system here, it's the same. So, I mean, I was in elementary school like 30 years ago. Education's gone a lot further,
Okay.
and there's a lot more that can be used, and, you know.
So Volusia's school system hasn't progressed at the same rate, at least as Orange?
Right, yes,
Okay.
correct.
All right. That's, okay. And thanks for elaborating on that. And you had a
Of course.
second question?
No, that was it, I think.
Oh,
that was
okay.
it.
Schools, okay. All right. And that, in various parts of the state, that's a great concern. Other parts, it's not. It's really kind of interesting, you know, and it depends a lot on your community's demographics and all that. And, you know, if you go in South Florida, a lot of very private schools, a lot of folks pay for that, you know, because they just don't feel good about the public school system. So it's a complex issue. Okay. Any other questions you might have of me? Any questions you have of me? No. Okay. Well, I'd like to thank you for your time this evening. I appreciate it very much. Please do let folks know about April 26th, however you communicate with folks. You can remember that. We would appreciate it. It's at City Hall, it'll be 5:30. It's going to be the same format. You're welcome to come again, but you don't feel like you're missing out if you don't. But if you can encourage some other folks to come. And then May 8th at City Hall, 10 a.m. to 2, the Community Vision Day. So we'd hopefully get some more folks, and we'd like to have it. But I really appreciate y'all's input tonight. It's very helpful, very good. So thank you very much. So.